Welcome back to the next installment. I've got a really special one in my heart today because this book, although it was not a self-help book like the other books I read, this book, I swear to the Lord, had more of an impact on me than all the others. And I was absolutely not expecting it because it's like a very simple plot, fantasy story. But yeah, it really changed me, which is fantastic. It was amazing. I'm very excited to talk about it. So I didn't have much expectations going to this. I wanted to read a Yukio Mishima book. So this one is The Sound of Waves by Yukio Mishima. Mainly because I enjoyed the book, what's it called? The Temple of the Golden Pavilion and The Sailor Who Fell from Grath Sea. However, yeah, so I chose this one because it was just one of his other single book ones. Nothing particularly particular about the reason I chose it. When I was skimming through some of Pewdiepie's old book review stuff on it, he mentioned that it was a good book and he explained a little bit about the plot, which I'm not going to do in this video. But it's not like he didn't enjoy it, but he wasn't obviously as excited as I am about it. So basically, in saying that, I won't go into the plot, but I'll tell you about how it made me feel and why I recommend this book to you in some circumstances. So it follows this story of Shinji, and it's a simple, I guess, romance story set on this island, where he's basically trying to chase this girl Hatsu, and there's a lot of, I guess, social, political stuff that sort of prevents him or hindering him from achieving his goal. But yeah, it's just basically a very simple story, and what stood out for me was this isn't the reason why I loved it, but in terms of the story, it really made me think and admire the simple life. I live a life, not a crazy life by any means, but you know, I've got a lot of responsibilities and I suppose my life's moderately fast paced. I get to travel a lot, etc. My work's cool. However, this book was really just the simplicity of it all. And one thing you notice in the main character is that doesn't have an extreme internal dialogue. Even though it follows his story, he's not scheming, he's not strategizing different ways to achieve his goal. He's just following, I guess, his life on a whim. He knows what he wants and he's doing his daily tasks and trying to achieve his goal, but he's not, building some massive empire and strategically outwitting his foes. He's just winning or trying to win through his honor, basically. And as I said, it's a very simple book. It's got a very structured plot, I suppose, but it's exciting the whole way through. And for me, I couldn't put this book down. And that's fantastic because I have never had that experience before. Even as a kid, my dad was always into reading and trying to get me to read, and he had different ways of trying to promote me reading and different books, fantasy, exciting, whatever. But none of them stuck. I hated reading, hated it. And I could never, it was so tiring. I used to read before bed on purpose to put me asleep because after 5 pages, I just couldn't bring my eyes to do it. So maybe it's just a coincidence that the timing of this book is with the timing of me and my eye muscles being able to just commit and read a book for a longer period of time. But genuinely, I think there was something about this book that just resonated with me. Maybe it was the writing style, maybe it was the story itself, but I could just not put this book down. It was just such a rewarding experience, and I loved following every page of the book. I loved following it, and falling asleep after it or trying to go to bed, I'd just be like reliving the chapter that I just read and analyzing it, not in like an analytical way, but just in a retelling of the story to myself. It was fantastic. I adored it. Yeah, so that's how it made me feel. And if I were to dig into the story itself, about what about the story made me feel that way, I would say it was to the point before, which is that it's such a simple lifestyle and simple plot and simple way they're living, simple issues. And it was really, I was quite envious of that. They had set paths in life, and yeah, they can deviate from it based on their own goals and what their vocation is, but in essence, they would have a job or career or vocation, and they pursue that road and excel at it just through doing it, I suppose, not through strategizing the best way or getting extremely educated. And it was a really breakaway from our capitalist mentality of trying to be in the top 10% of whatever industry you're in. They're happy but not complacent, and I was very envious of it. And yeah, it made me, I don't know, not regret my life at all. I wouldn't change anything, but the way Yukio Mishima sort of portrays the day-to-day life and the different beautiful things in the day-to-day life that most people would see as mundane. He really brings life to them, not in an exciting way, but in a this is life and this is peace. So yeah, it really resonated with me. I really liked that he wasn't a strategic thinker. A lot of the other books I've read, and particularly a lot of the self-help books, are hypercritical. And if it's following a character, it's hypercritical of following the actions they've made in certain things to, achieve their goals or achieve a certain objective. But this was just the complete opposite, just like a story, like I suppose not to reference the book, but in reference to the book and the title, it was like riding a wave through a story, and you just let it take you, and it was amazing. So after this book, I changed my whole Pewdiepie's book review. I'm not doing his sort of set out plan, simply because a lot of those are self-help books, and I really want to find what works for me. So this book obviously worked for me. Not saying I'm not going to be reading self-help again, because that was the first step into my reading. I really found it useful. However, this just, really inspired me. So in that essence, the next book I'm going to be reading is A Personal Matter by Kenzaburo Oe. So I've actually started reading through it. I'm actually quite a way through it, but it is about a father who, it's his journey through, getting notified that he has a disabled son on the way. Not going to tell you what the plot, maybe in the next one. The other Japanese book I got, was Shipwrecks by Akira Yoshimura. The reason I got this one is because, the reason I got both of these was because I wanted to find books with a similar sort of vibe as The Sound of Waves, and I just used ChatGPT to do that and did some research and sort of figured out ones that would be good for me. Kenzaburo Oe, A Personal Matters, much more of a deep analytical, investigation or a story through the person's eyes, and he's hypercritical and it really goes into depth about who he is as a person and the actions he's making. But definitely a story similar to The Sound of Waves. And the next one, Shipwrecks, I have no idea. I think when I bought it, I think it's just like a nice tale. So yeah, very excited. So I hope you enjoyed. This one was a bit different. I basically just rambled the whole time, so I apologize. And especially because a lot of times I break and say and, but I was just very excited to get it out. So yeah, I unedited this one, and I'm not particularly good at speaking on camera just because I don't do it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I would recommend it absolutely, especially if you don't read too much. Oh my God, it might just be, if it does it for you, it might just be the one. Maybe. Anyway, peace, thank you.